What was the loudest college stadium you had to play in?
The loudest college stadium I had to play in was probably Oklahoma my sophomore year. I mean, that's when they had like Teddy Lehman. They had at least 10 All-Americans on that team, and you know, it was my sophomore year, so it was my first time actually like traveling like that and having to play in a crowd like that. I never heard anything like it.
I would have to say Auburn when they had Cam. We went into overtime, and that stadium was pretty much the closest thing to Clemson. So Auburn, their national championship year.
The loudest stadium you had to play in?
We played Penn State, matter of fact, on a Saturday night or something like that. It was a whiteout or whatever, and that probably what was that? 07 maybe or something like that. Probably one of the craziest environments. Couldn't hear your teammates, couldn't hear what the coaches were saying.
Ohio State. Ohio State was over 100,000 fans when we played them in 2005. Hostile environment, very talented players. A lot of guys from their team made it to the NFL, as did ours respectively. So I'll say Ohio State.
What was the loudest stadium you ever played in?
Clemson.
Clemson, huh?
2003. Played a Saturday night game where actually we're coming in. We're supposed to be we're going to end up being number 2 if we win the game. We was ranked number 3 that year. And loudest game I've ever played in, you couldn't hear anything. You could actually feel everything on the sideline vibrating and started rattling. That's how loud the stadium was.
Can't hate Jordan Hare to me. That's a home game. It gets crazy.
I would have to say Ohio State, but it wasn't the craziest. It was the loudest. But the craziest was probably Iowa. They're so close. We had helmets being stolen. I mean, they really, really, really didn't like us.
They steal your helmets?
Yeah, and I've never won that.
The loudest college stadium you ever played in?
I would have to say Tennessee. Neyland Stadium probably was the loudest, followed by maybe a South Carolina. It's very, very loud as well. LSU is up there too.
University of Washington. Down there, up there, they pack it up, and then they have this little deal that goes over the fans, and that noise just ricochets all through the stadium.
Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver.
Yeah.
You're a USC guy from Inglewood. What was the toughest, loudest college stadium you ever had to play in?
Oregon, my freshman year, honestly, tell you the truth, was pretty loud.
Obviously, Oregon is really loud. Autzen Stadium is a great stadium to play in, but I'd have to give it to Minnesota. When we played Minnesota in 2009, that would, Eric Decker was there, and that was the loudest. I was a sophomore, and that was the loudest stadium I've ever been in. And they were rocking that day for some reason, and I'm not gonna lie, I was shaking. I said, "Oh man," but they were a great crowd.
Loudest college stadium you ever played in? Besides Virginia Tech, that's a loud building.
But LSU, we played on the road in LSU, a night game. It got pretty loud. Playing against Glenn Dorsey and early to setting those guys, it got pretty loud.
The best one was the Rose Bowl. Definitely, when we played Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, it's probably the best environment I've been in. But as far as opposing teams, Oregon State's pretty loud when we play them in the Civil War.
Loudest college stadium you had to go and play in?
So we played in Lane Stadium down in Blacksburg, and that was, fantastic. It was my best college moment. We were there. We were number 2 in the country. They were 6th in the country. It was the beginning of the 4th quarter. They were up by, I think, 10 points, and they played the Enter Sandman, and it starts boom, and the whole crowd starts jumping up and down, and no lie, it was raining. The little pellets of water were bouncing off the turf. It was insane. That place was really awesome.
Every time we went to East Lansing and we played against Michigan State, it was always a dogfight. And those guys always come to play. We had to play against the Kirk Cousins and Le'Veon Bells of the world. So, those guys are pretty, obviously pretty good players. So that was always my toughest challenge.
Loudest college stadium an Ivy Leaguer from Columbia plays in.
You really want to ask me this question, huh? I don't know if my answer qualifies, but damn it does in my world. Yale. Yale has the Yale Bowl, which I think holds 80,000. Now, of course, we never sold it out. I think Harvard-Yale sells out every year, but we had it crack in maybe 25,000, 30,000 one year. It felt good to us on the field, but it's not the same. It's not SEC football.
They're going to have some pretty intelligent heckles, I imagine, right?
if we were to hear and understand what they were saying.
It's okay. You're gonna work for us someday.
Yeah, right. Equations going through the crowd. No one's doing the wave. They're doing the charity high five. What's your philanthropy interest? It's different in the Ivy League, but guess what? We don't always play on the team, but we certainly can own the team.
Where are you guys going after the after?